times. The one leak on Thursday focused on Ukraine. The leak that came out, I believe it was Saturday morning, that one focused not only on Ukraine, but also on the Middle East and China. And the leak that came out on Saturday seems to have really spooked the Pentagon and the intel officials of the collective West. A lot of debate about whether these documents are real or not. And a lot of debate as to whether the information in these documents are real or not. And I think we need to differentiate between that, because when I first saw these leaks, my first impression was, oh, the New York Times is reporting on it. I'm kind of suspicious there. And the numbers, a lot of the numbers didn't add up. And I'm talking about the leaks that were released on Thursday, the ones that were specific to Ukraine. Then I listened to your video. I got some information from other people who know about these things better than I do. And I came to the conclusion that the documents...
Unbelievable. I don't like my glasses, but Prism Live, Steve William P. Ferentz live on air. I don't have any good news for you. Keith Lathrop, I don't have any news for you. We're in a pickle. Hey, Ace. Ace is the place for the helpful. Technical, fundamental man. Hey, Jenny. Happy Easter, everyone. Yeah, it was a good Easter. It was a good Easter. Yeah, hardware folks. Grow up, Arthur. That's it, Arthur. You are now cut off. You mean from the family? No, Arthur. From the... Yes, Arthur. From the money. I'm not going to answer that. From the... Yes, Arthur, $895 million. Well, I don't care. I don't want to marry Susan. Mr. Johnson and I insist, Arthur. Anyway, I have no news to tell you. And I give congratulations to Kurt Kramer, an absolute genius, and to Alpine. These guys are tremendous traders, and boy, do they know what they're doing. Anyway, they're having their fun for now. It'll be over. Let me see where the stock's trading. I guess I saw someone texted me, don't buy it now, it's going lower or something like that. So if you want to know where I think how low it can go, it'll go to 75 cents. Because you, not all of you, but you, well, I don't know if it would have been different. But for all the people that fell in love with Joe Biden, all 81 million of them, he put a hack in charge of the SEC. Paid off, just like he and his son, just like the rest of the Democratic Party, and some Republicans, and the Yellen. And Gensler doesn't enforce the rules. Everybody's doing everything they can think of, but it boils down to Kurt Kramer knows the rules. He at one time passed the Series 7. He knows that you can't sell stock that doesn't exist. He knows that you cannot commit securities fraud. He knows that you cannot sell unissued shares without a prospectus. He knows all this. But in his genius, he's found a loophole. A loophole. It's a little like when someone breaks into a bank with a gun. Hey, I found the loophole. If I bring a gun, you're going to let me in the vault. So I give all credit to Kurt Kramer. He should be proud. I saw his son on Instagram. His son is a financial advisor, lives a really good life, a life that very few people in the world do. So I give great credit to Kurt Kramer. A man of integrity, a man of financial acumen, and man, for he and his brother, two young boys from Great Clam, New York, just trying to make a living, they've done a good job. And we need more of them. We need more of them. I mean, look what he's given to the world. He's been able to give $500,000 to Children's Hospital, and he's been able to provide for his family. And he's given a lifetime of income to shady market makers. Good on him. But it's all going to come to a halt. It's all going to come to a halt. And sooner than he thinks. And once it does come to a halt, all right, we're at 120 on 1 million shares. Supposedly, it's 1 million shares. But, Gensler doesn't see it as a problem. So I don't think you should either. The fact that Kurt Kramer and Alpine have been able to drive the stock down over $1 in less than 2 weeks, it's clear that their crack research team has had a look, and GTII does not deserve to be trading at these levels. And so they single-handedly are going to save you in the marketplace from the obvious fraud going on at GTII. But no, I don't have any news on it. There tain't any. There tain't any news. I mean, you know already, you should know, that the company has organized a distribution of 1 restricted share for every 10 you own. The record date is meant to be April 15th. Today is the 9th or 10th, I can't remember. 10th. So let's see when the 15th. Is that Friday? No. So next Monday, a week from now, next Monday, the stock should be trading ex-dividend. Assuming that a final approval comes in. But as far as I've heard, FINRA has had only one minor question, so it looks like it's going to be approved. I think that will catch out Kurt Kramer and Alpine. You also have the 1-800 law firm, but if you've given up on it, I'm not going to spend time trying to describe it any further. I sound like a blathering idiot saying the same thing over and over again. But 1-800 law firm, there was an extension of the agreement, so maybe it's all just a come on, or maybe their reason is true. The auditors are taking forever. And then you have the FBI is chasing down Westpac the I forget now the guy's name, Andy. Anyway, he had a client that stiffed the firm for, hang on, No ham call today. I know you couldn't hear. I turned my phone off, my mic off. I was speaking with Ham, and I didn't want his conversation to be broadcast. But there's no call today. Hey, Barry Crouch. Yeah. Hey, Jenny L. Easter was, I don't know, it was grow up, Arthur. You'll make a fine adult. Hey, Rob Shigano. Yeah, I think, Steve, that's the thing to do. I think now's the time to buy. I think it could go as low as 75 cents because that's the gap roughly there. But I don't, as Ham just told me, he doesn't know how they're still standing. It's all criminal. It's all fraud. And he said there's obviously they're trying to do something. They're in trouble somewhere. But, you know, you've got Gary Gensler, who just could not give a hoot. And you've got Robert Cook, who I think's there, like Gary Gensler, just to put up a smokescreen. There's just too much money to be made. I just don't know what ends it. Well, CLNV, first time Jimmy, CLNV had a dividend. But for some reason, they just distributed normal, regular shares of stock. It wasn't restricted. They didn't require you to have to go through the transfer agent. So I'm not exactly sure how that was going to trap the shorts in CLNV. CLNV also did an offering into the teeth of a rally, and that just helps the shorts. So it's really tough to find a company and a management team who are aligned with your interests. This criminality isn't only system-wide, it is the system. It is the system. And you have lawyers come on and tell you the best thing is to do to sue. No. The Kramers love that. And any of the other ones working with Alpine. It buys time. You have other people come on and say you're not entitled to get a big payout because the system can't afford it. Well, I say FUC something, the system. Let it all come down. But yes, they can afford to pay you. What good are you getting out of this system? What is it that you get out of it that's so good? You have Communist China's social credit scores. You go to banks and they charge you overdraft fees. You go to banks and get a credit card, which is money made up out of thin air, and you have annual fees, and if you're late, you have late fees, and if you run over a limit, you have over limit fees, and if you do one or too many of those, the interest rate goes to 25 or even 29%. What do you need that for? What do you need that for? You get mortgages that they only lend to people with highest credit scores. But the system itself, the banks, go out and create Zillow and the others to go buy doors on a massive basis. BlackRock goes out and buys houses and apartments, pricing you out. What do you need all these bankers for? What do you need them for? Why do you need the system to survive? But anyway, they're going to argue that in order for the system to survive, we can't pay you what you deserve. Well, we'll see about that. There's only one stock out there, which is GTII, where management has refused to take money from the shorts. They've refused to be fooled by these smiling faces. And I think there's it's just repeating the same things, but I think this is taking a toll on the Kramers and Alpine. This is a losing trade par excellence. I don't know why GTII and 1-800-law firm are taking so long. Maybe Kurt Kramer has the inside information to know that, because he knows everybody on Wall Street. He's dealt with everyone. His tentacles go a long, long way. When you have that kind of money and order flow, you buy a lot of friends on Wall Street. But I think he's wrong. I think 1-800 is going to go through. But he's always negative on everything, because he knows he alone controls the supply. Somebody sent me a text. Why is the stock going down? Well, you want me to be a jerk? I guess because I am sometimes. There's more sellers than buyers. That's what they used to tell us. We'd call someone. Hey, why is Apple down? Well, there's more sellers than buyers. Can you tell me why Kelly Oil's going down? Today there's more sellers than buyers. How come Valley Federal Savings and Loan is down $10? More sellers than buyers. It's what we were always told by our trading desks if we could get through. More sellers than buyers. Well, the Kramers create stock out of thin air. And Joe Biden, Goldman Sachs, Hillary Clinton, all these saviors that saved you from the odious man Trump, they don't care. They don't care how much money you lose. They don't care. But you're going to get worked up about Trump, so you're going to vote for Joe Biden. All that is necessary here is for one regulator to enforce one rule. Reg show. Hey, you got an extension because you said that you had located the shares, but they weren't just right there now. But now, when that extension comes due, you're not delivering. Guess what? Close it out. Now you didn't? Well, now you're committing securities fraud. We're going to arrest you and make an example out of you. It's all that Gary Gensler has to do. He's not going to. He's going to alarm you by the reach of Kim Kardashian, put her name on a blockchain. Oh, the threat to humanity. And Lindsay Lohan got her act together, and she started supporting some sort of bit blockchain. Oh my gosh, the risk. But he's not going to do anything about the theft in the over-the-counter markets. You know why? He's complicit. His firm, Goldman Sachs, makes their money that way. Goldman Sachs paid off Hillary Clinton, paid off Janet Yellen, paid off multiple politicians. Don't expect anything to get done. So what you have with GTII is a company that's decided you can't get relief from the regulatory bodies. Most lawyers, I think with the exception of Wes Christian, but we'll see because we haven't worked with them, but most lawyers, I think they're there. It's possible the lawyers are paid off by Kurt Kramer, one, or two, they recognize that if they don't hurt Kurt Kramer too much, he's going to have company after company after company that they can hire. It's a gravy chain of business. When you're a lawyer, when you're a stockbroker, or wealth manager, a money manager, even an investment bank, you have to have repeat business. And what's the best way to get repeat business? from a guy that's sells almost unlimited amount of stock that doesn't exist. It's tremendous business all over the street. Everybody makes a profit, and nobody more than Goldman Sachs. It's a real shame. All right, let's see where it's trading. Ham didn't have much to say other than he believes they're in trouble, and they're obviously doing this because they have margin pressure, or they're trying to get it down so that it erases some mark. He's got buyers in there, big buyers coming, buyers every single day, and they keep selling. So I think what you have to do if you can't stand it, I think it's too late now. When it was up at 2 and 3, I was facetiously telling you, just get out. But I wouldn't get out here. It could go down another 50 cents. It could go down half from here. Half. You could lose 50% of your money from here if you look at the charts. But that's only temporary. It's been down here before. You've got to give kudos to Kurt Kramer. Absolute genius that he could foresee the stock was going down. How does he do it? Stock after stock. When he sees a stock, he knows it's going down. He invests in the company, but he knows it's going to go down. He must know something we don't know. I know what it is. He gets to sell stock through many crooked market makers, which you can't do. And if there's any rally in the stock, all he has to do is keep selling. It's just sheer genius. He's a Michelangelo of trading. He's the Beethoven of profit. He's just a criminal, in my judgment. Everything I say on this tape is my judgment. It's 125, down 5 cents. Now, guys, I unfortunately sold my puny position to buy GTII, but Wolf is up 16 cents, $1.16, probably headed to $1.50 or higher. And so that's doubled. That's doubled from its pressure point. People say, why? Well, one thing is they got more capacity. The other is Bitcoin is up. But when you stop looking at a stock, things firm up. Vocal was very vocal about a lot of news, and maybe even a squeeze coming, but now it's down. And I think the issue there is he's got to raise money, and he's not going to raise it at higher prices unless there's a material change in the story. We'll see. I don't think he would say that he felt a squeeze could come without having a good reason. Finger is up 2 cents, $1.47. Logic is 35 to 36 cents. I'm going to try to, I'm not going to have a hard time getting it done, but to have a live call with Brent and a couple other people on Wednesday regarding Logic and Go Logic, should be able to get it all organized. We'll let you know. Go Logic wasn't trading that well. $1.75, down 25 cents. It's a lot of volume for Go Logic, 8,500 shares. Both stocks are exciting. I think Go Logic could be $20 in a year or less. So it's basically 10x by the end of the year would be a reasonable target. Logic, I think it's 35 cents roughly. I think it could be $1.50 within 6 weeks. Obviously, no one has a crystal ball. Let me see GTII. Yeah, you got to give great credit to Kurt Kramer. $1.25. All right, let me see. What are you? When we wake up to GTI at 167, we'll be happy. I know VL Warrior. Poster on ST's Stock Twits says MMTL prod alert is about MMAT pump and dump. I don't know. Heard this saying MMTLP has 4.7 billion. Ordinary Angler, 4.7 billion shares naked shorted? So Ordinary Angler, the criminals flood the market with supply for years. They'd sell let's call it 5 billion, 4.7, let's call it 5 billion shares that don't exist at prices as high as $9 or $12 a share, but mostly lower. They take all that money out. They don't pay taxes. They funnel it to the Cayman Islands, to Panama, Tel Aviv, North Korea. I don't know. I'm not up on all the places you can send money. So they send the money. It's out. It's out of the system. It's out of your pocket. It's out of the system. And then the pressure comes, and the system says, "Oh, we can't afford demand to counterbalance supply to such an extent that everyone makes money on the long side." That's not fair, they say, because the system could collapse. I say, why is it fair for the criminals, the shorts, to make all the money and abscond with it, and we're not allowed to do our due diligence? Vienna VA. $90 billion shares short as possible. More likely 3 billion. Well, of course it's including Torch. I didn't mean my voice to sound that way. I was just saying, of course it is including Torch, because that's, in my judgment, that's why they kept selling MMTLP. They didn't want the company to survive. Stop paying credit card bills. HCNWF has been a beast for 5 days, Kevin Turner. Pete Tong, is this not close to being organized crime? I think it is very close to being organized crime. And Pete Tong, I don't know where you went to school, but we had this honor code. And I think, at a minimum, what FINRA and the SEC do violates any kind of honor code. Oh, I hope it's an okay doctor's appointment, Jenny L. Hey, heard that 4.7. I wouldn't sell Logic right now, Steve. I would not sell Logic. You might get a chance to sell Logic in the next couple of weeks at 2 or 3 times the price. I don't know. Then you can go into GTII. But I'm not telling you what to do. GTII looks finger-licking good. Yeah, Doug. Goober Gensler's job is to protect the banksters. And yeah, I like FJB. Dave M., can we talk about the dividend and how it will benefit the stock? I'm assuming it's a form of dilution, but the board will only release enough shares to well, it's dilute. Mark Ashley, I didn't say that Kramer's running out of money. He's shorting stocks. He's still bringing companies in to destroy them. He just moved from New York down to Virginia over here. And now, I'm not saying Kramer's running out of money. He's hiding money. He's reportedly moving assets out of his name. I don't think he's running out of money. And he's not running out of stock to sell. He just creates stock out of thin air. So, Mark, I'm not saying he's running out of money, and I'm not saying he's running out of stock to sell, because the stock doesn't exist. But he is committing securities fraud, and he is going to get in trouble. However, yeah, Tony Sarra asks an actually interesting question. Could it be that Reichman is waiting for the dividend 1 to 10 to expose the short before the acquisition of 1-800? There's two parts of that are possible. One is that they want to distribute the 1 for 10 while it's not once they acquire 1-800 law firm, it would be a much bigger distribution. So there's that aspect of it, that by doing the distribution first, it's fewer shares, and it might be easier to catch everything out. So that's one side of it. The other side of it is, if you decide to play the devil's advocate, I don't trust it. 1-800's taking so long, it's never going to happen. Well, maybe I'm just saying this as, it's not what I believe, but maybe they just don't really want 1-800 to happen. They'd rather the stock squeezed first. I don't know. But yeah, I think, Tony, it's possible. He does want to deflect, Jenny. I agree. Hey, Rigatoni, thank you for being back. I used to say that I always thought I was so clever, sitting at a bar, somebody next to me, completely ignoring me, turned away. I'd always say, "Hey, it's nice to see you're back." I always thought it was funny. Yeah, it's one of those jokes, the more you say it, the funnier it gets. Let me go back to this gentleman's question that I totally forgot. Oh, Dave M. How will it benefit the stock? I don't know, Dave M. I don't think issuing a restricted share 1 for 10 is going to benefit the stock or benefit the company in any traditional way. But Dave M., what's been going on in GTII for over 2 years is that Kurt Kramer, Seth Kramer, Charlie Mayo, and their boiler room, and maybe some of their friends, and now maybe Alpine has joined in, are selling shares that don't exist. They do it under an exemption under Reg Show. There's 4 tickets in the United States. Buy stock, self-explanatory. Sell stock, self-explanatory. Short stock that you've located, a regular short. Shorting that is approved and is legal. Pretty self-explanatory too now. And the 4th is the exemption under Reg Show, the market maker exemption. The exemption that allows you, if you have a corrupt lawyer, fill out the paperwork. If you have a bunch of smart people tell you, aha, it's kind of a gray area, so, you can get away with it, but, So anyway, market makers that are shady, if you're a market maker, you can sell stock that hasn't been located, basically saying, I promise to get settled with you later. You can do it intraday in enormous volume. You can do it every day, the week, the month, the year. And it's still it's securities fraud, and it's still against the law. And you're supposed to, under Reg Show, you're supposed to settle up. But Gary Gensler, if you mention over-the-counter to him, his ears turn off. He just doesn't care about the over-the-counter market. Robert Cook, I think, is just there to collect $3 million. Who's paying him? Who finds value in what Robert Cook does at $3 million a year? Normal government jobs at the highest level, you don't make more than 15 grand a month, maybe a little bit more, but $3 million a year? He's there for someone, and I think it's for the brokers firms and the prime brokers and Goldman Sachs. So what's been happening for 2.5 years with GTII is they've been selling shares that don't exist. Reichman borrowed money from Power Up Lending and Kurt Kramer. Kurt Kramer, I think it was Kurt, it might have been Charlie Mayo, but I think it was Kurt Kramer, said in a press release, we're so excited to be helping GTII grow. And then Reichman bought back the note, paying the full 25% penalty, paying the bogus expense costs, paying the difference between par and the original issue discount, and necessitating the return of all shares that were put at the transfer agent under the convertible note, such that Kurt Kramer at any time could deliver money in tranches after he's already sold naked in the open market, getting stock at a 25-40% discount, because he's a genius, remember. This guy is a trading machine. So the dividend is not meant to raise money for the company. It's not meant to help the company. It's not meant to help the stock. It's not meant to dramatically change your lives. What it is meant to do is to try to do the job that the SEC and FINRA are supposed to do, which is to settle the trades. And in the case of GTII, there's many people that say, oh, you can't trust the data you get from FINRA. You can't trust that over-the-counter short report. I mean, they just make that number up. Of course, there's shares available from overseas. There's, insiders are lending their shares out. Well, that might be true in other stocks. I really don't think it's true in the case of GTII. The whales know better than to lend out their stock. All they have to do is call the broker and say, do not lend my stock out, or put in a GTC order. Kurt Kramer has no access to shares. There's no fundraising going on. And unlike COSM, unlike CNLV, unlike, there's other stocks out there. The chairman is not going to take a deal from a so-called investment bank, which is just a pass-through for the criminals, so they can reduce their exposure and continue to drive the stock down. That's not going to happen with GTII. So what the distribution of one restricted share for every 10 common shares you hold. CNLV just issued a common share for 10 common shares. Well, that's not what this is. This is restricted stock. While it has not been announced, it's most likely going to be that when you receive that dividend at Fidelity or wherever you hold your account, it'll say that, hey, you have a restricted share. You got it. Yay, I got it. Fidelity's a great firm. But it's at something like 320, well, you got to divide it by 10, something like 32 million of them will be false. So what this distribution of a restricted share for each 10 shares you have is meant to do, April 15th is the record date, is to force the system to have to buy back real shares in order to honor that distribution to you. How? I'm sure it's going to follow a similar process as the warrant issued as a special dividend that was working before one guy who reportedly has 4 million shares of GTII operated it against it for some reason. But it was biting. It was hurting. How? Because you were required to ask your brokerage firm to deliver your dividend to Liberty Stock Transfer. And that's what this is supposed to do. It is a trap to catch out the system that's defrauding you. What do you want the company to do? Stop trying? That's one thing they're going to do. West Christian has filed a lawsuit that is probably going to, I personally think it could be $1 trillion lawsuit, but it could be tens, if not $100 billion. Who knows? The company is going to give it to you as a digital dividend, some percentage of it. On upstream is the plan. And they have to wait till the case advances a bit further. It's like catching a fish you got to make sure the hook is caught. You got to make sure that the court case has been taken on by the legal system, for sure. Once that happens, they'll issue that. What is the purpose? How does that help the stock? How does that help the company? It doesn't. But what it does, it helps you as a shareholder have the potential for a squeeze because it helps to cause the system to ask for all of the legitimately issued shares and the 325 million or more, and no one knows the exact number. Maybe it's correct that that number, it's just a de minimis portion of that. Maybe it's only 10 or 20 million because you can't trust otcshort.net. I don't know. There's only one person that can get this information, and he just doesn't care. He's derelict, deficient. So that's coming. You've got the restricted share dividend that could catch out the system. You're going to have a blockchain dividend of the proceeds of the West Christian lawsuit distributed to you. That's coming. Those are both traps to try to get the system to demand the delivery of real shares to Liberty Stock Transfer and to take out of your account counterfeit dividends. That's what it's about. It's not about helping the company. It's not about raising money. It's not about helping the stock, other than causing the system to ask for all the stock at the record date. So there's a run on the stock and there's buy-ins. What do you want them to do? It doesn't make sense. It's obviously dilutive and it's going to hurt the company. No. They're trying to cause a reckoning. Something that FINRA could do in its sleep. Something that Gary Gensler could ask for overnight. But they're not going to do it. Journalists don't care. It's just not going to happen. So GTII is trying to set trap after trap after trap, all of which are legal, all of which have to be carefully disclosed to investors, all of which need approval of the SEC and FINRA. But GTII is trying to do the job the fat FUX Robert Cook collects $3 million a year to enforce the rules, and he doesn't do it. He puts out a memorandum in an abundance of caution. We're going to work from home because, we got some nasty tweets that we deemed to be threatening, and these people are just unreasonable. The bankers are so much more reasonable. Ken Griffin, a pleasure to deal with. Solomon at Goldman Sachs, just a joy. Gary Gensler, what a gentleman. Kurt Kramer never says a bad word about anyone on Twitter, according to Frank Benedetto. All of them. They're just so great. So great. But these retail people, they seem to think they've been ripped off. And they get angry. It's very threatening. So in an abundance of caution, we're now working from home. Collecting my $3 million. I can set my large posterior down at a desk on K Street, or I can just set it down on a desk in my den at home. 300,000 a month, 10,000 a day, over 10,000 a day because I'm so important. Robert Cook can't even enforce a rule. Imagine what Gary Gensler makes. Imagine what Gary Gensler is going to make once he retires and gets a job at Goldman Sachs on their board. Or when Hillary Clinton runs for president again. Don't think it couldn't happen. So what do these dividends do? Nothing. The dividends in a normal situation be stupid. Why would they issue a dividend like this? It's just, you can be negative about it. So there are stocks out there that don't issue dividends. COSM didn't. You can go buy them. CLNV issued a dividend common. That didn't make sense. Buy them. But what they're trying to do, first, April 15th, record date, is a 10% restricted share, is to catch out the system so the system locates all the real shares over and over and over again, all at once, in order to close out the fails to deliver that are sitting in the system like cancer in GTII for the last 2.5 years. One naked short, one prime broker. It's meant to catch out the system. It's not complicated, but you can make it complicated. Oh, it's just dilutive. I don't know. At some point, I just feel like I'm spinning my wheels. So you've got the restricted stock dividend. You've got the dividend blockchain for the West Christian lawsuit settlement. Obviously, there's some risk. Maybe he loses. Who knows? You've got the 1-800 law firm. Oh, that's never going to come. They're just extending it. I don't know. Maybe it'll never come. But they announced it's coming, so I guess if it's not going to, they'll tell us. You've got the FBI after whoever the criminal was who sold stock at West Park and then decayed the trade. It's a $4 million error, maybe a little bit less. The FBI's not going to quit. The FBI's not going to quit. That's coming. You've got the Trento mine. Everything I hear, it's big banks, it's government contracts, it's documents, ambassadors, it's bullshitting here, bullshitting there. Here's a letterhead. Here's my letterhead, and then okay, and here. But what I understand is that deal is essentially completed. Now I've heard that before, so I only give it now a roughly 50%, 40, 50, 60% odds. But that could happen at any time, and that suddenly makes GTII billions. Alpine going down, I'm convinced, is an irrelevancy now. They've gotten extensions. There's a witness. They are suing one of the guys, Frankel or Frettel or Freddie. The Hurries are suing him. He started or works at Vision Financial out of Connecticut. And there's another one up there. They're all the same crappy firms. And they're all designed to fleece you of your money. And I agree with whoever said it. Why are we even in the markets? If these trades don't work, you should never come back to the markets again. Even if they do work, I don't think you should come back to these markets again. Why do we reward smiling goober Gary Gensler? Why? Hands go over here, hands go over here, order flow. Oh, this is a revolutionary overwriting of the rules. Gary Gensler, Goldman Sachs. I teach at MIT. It's all, as Jenny said, it's all deflection. They don't want you thinking about settlement. They don't want the fact that your account is stuffed with nothing. They've defrauded you. I was sent today by the Ham, and that means he probably put it up on Twitter. I didn't look. So you may have already seen it. But there's a company out there which Silex. Silex. They're suing. Now, the way they write this, you're going to think it's different, but it's the same thing. Silex Holding Company reports substantial underreporting of more than 44 million shares of its common stock by brokerage firms for the upcoming annual meeting. Well, they're saying underreporting because in the brokerage accounts are 44 million shares where the people have paid money to buy those shares and they're not getting to vote. Why? Because they weren't given real shares. They were given counterfeit shares, electronic entry. Electronic entry is designed to defraud you. And Gary Gensler doesn't want anyone to understand that. And you just have idiots in journalism today. Absolute idiots. Morons. They all say the same thing. So the reason for these dividends is to catch out the system, because glib Gary Gensler isn't going to do it. Lardy Robert Cook isn't going to do it. All the attorneys at FINRA aren't going to do it. So the company's trying to do it.
But first, does it matter who owns your local TV station? While polls show Americans are increasingly worried about so-called fake news,
I can't stand
they
her.
also show that many trust their local
Let's speed it up.
For the New York Times, who's been covering Sinclair.
compromise plan for the controversial Kenesha Sanders.
Most of us think of local news as just that, local. Stations run local stories.
God, I hate it. It's just the... Here, let's play this one.
Hi, I'm Fox San Antonio. Jessica Headley.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our Treasure Valley communities, the El Paso, Las Cruces communities, Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But
We are concerned about plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and false news
has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets simply aren't true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 This is extremely dangerous to our democracy. This is extremely dangerous to our democracy. This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
You're not going to get recompense in journalism. You're not going to get it at the regulators. You're not going to get it from the brokerage firms without forcing account. And that's what these dividends are about. Doesn't help the company, doesn't help the shareholders. What it does is cause, hopefully, a run on the system asking for delivery versus all of the failed to delivers, asking for that delivery of real shares or a locate of shares that can be borrowed all at once. So it's a long answer to your question. And that's why they call it TV programming. Very good, Jay Rouch. Yeah, who wrote the script, Dave M? Who wrote the script? Okay, here's the best one. PS71. Now it spun away from me, PS71. I love it. PS71. Hey, Bill, Sir Bill. Today I bought GTI, GOLQ, Logic, and Vocal and saved some money in case price. I love it. That's exactly what I think you should do. Exactly what I can't give it advice, but I think that is taking a situation that feels like doesn't feel good and taking action. And when it turns around, just like I showed you, Wolf, I'm sure a lot of you thought when Wolf was 50 cents, it was never going to recover. Well, it's doubled. It's more than doubled. Well, the thing is, I think people who talk about stolen elections or question the integrity of elections, they really are conspiratorialists and they're election deniers. I mean, who would ever doubt that the election of 2016 was above board? I mean, for someone to say that the Russians interfered and because of that, stole the election from Hillary and gave it to Trump, that would be election denial, wouldn't it? And we can't have that. Anyway, I don't know what else to tell you about these stocks. Someone just sent me a who was it? Was it 71? PS 71? Look how GTII closed. It's got a bit of a double bottom there. Everyone loves double bottoms. Pretty good. Let's look at a stock chart. So PS71, or can't remember. That was great buying that you did. Wow. There it is. Whoop, there it is. Whoop, there it is. Whoop, there it is. This right here, that line right there, that line right there, those are two spikes downward, and it's a higher low. And I'll tell you what, this 138, let me see where the stock opened. I think this is the capitulation you were looking for. It's not a lot of volume, so that doesn't work in my favor. But we've been down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days. you had this stock drop precipitously and then rally back at the end of the day. Let me just see where it opened. Opened at 132, closed at 137. I think you've had your reversal. You've had your that's it. That's it for the stock going down. You just saw it. That's it for it. We're going up. And we could gap open tomorrow. We are going up. I think it'll go to 182 tomorrow. I think we'll be up 50 cents tomorrow. Almost 50 cents tomorrow. And once we get through 180, I think 230 might be a little pause, but not this time. And then maybe 275.3, but then it's all over. It's going higher. It's going higher. This is a great trading day, guys. That is a great trading day. You go down, and it comes rallying back and closes above where it opened. That is a key trend reversal. Look what happened the last time it did it. Look what happened the last time that happened. It happened down here. And then the stock went up. It went from $1.10. I don't know. I can't tell. All the way up to 235 to 230, 225, I can't tell. Pulled back a bit, and it went to 250 in a spike. And then we had this pleasantness. But this is a good day. It's a good day. I think it's a very good day. So, stock's going up tomorrow. And I think they've held it down all they can. There's going to be a panicked short tomorrow. You'll see. Maybe we can go to $2 tomorrow. You had a 250 at 119. Yay! 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 Original Planksta. That's great. So what the heck is different today? Yeah, Hail Hydra, $3 to $5. I think you're right. Hey, Barry Crouch agrees. Aren't you being rather agreeable, Barry? Skydog, Joe Biden ran such a powerful campaign, massive turnout at his 3 public appearances. Well, 12 of those Jeeps were filled with operatives. He's the most popular president in history. Well, that's true, Peter. You got to keep emotions out of it, but we're human beings. So you might as well experience the emotions. And it's the toughest thing, Peter, because sometimes your gut tells you what to do, and it's hard to separate gut feelings from emotions, But yeah, you might as well. They did try to hammer it down, Matt K. Oh, it's a hammer candle? See? I have no idea what that means. Is it like Thor's hammer? The hammer of Odin? Chelsea Clinton owns shares, Clover Healthcare. I don't know about Chelsea. 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 They're not going to let Trump run. They're going to try to 138. Still waiting for evidence of a stolen election. Well, it's like evidence of short selling. You're never going to see it. Well, more GTII. I like PS71. Brave man, I assume. Tell lies with vision. That's pretty good. I should stick out my tongue, Chris Daniel, and then I'll really look like Albert Einstein. Well, Richard Gerger, I don't think that when the dividend is issued, the next day it's going to show up in the stock price. Now, that doesn't mean the stock won't go up, but I think you're asking me about when would the big move be, and that's going to take a while. There were some gentlemen that got really impatient with GTII around Thanksgiving, so they said, hey, let's go try another stock. And I submit they were grossly wrong in their analysis, because what I think was happening was the squeeze was on. Fidelity was offering 1,000% to borrow shares, and they were having to locate shares to fulfill the real warrants, a dividend of warrants at 275. And that took about, depending on how you count it, that could have been 3, 4, 5 weeks later from when the stock went over 275, the strike price. But it was a good year, over a year later from the issuance of the warrants. So the trap only starts, the movement only starts when the brokerage firms have to perform the delivery. And so I don't think it'll happen all at once. I think it'll be a rolling effect. And if I had to guess, it would take several weeks. Four to 6 weeks, I would say. But it could be longer even. It could even be longer. But slowly the system will start realizing, hey, we're in trouble here. And they go out and buy the shares. They borrow the shares. And then someone will get paid off to come tell you that we need to move into, XYZ GTF fund stock because it's so much better. And we'll let the air out of the balloon for them. But the problem is much bigger for GTII this time. They have created out of thin air another 125 to 150 million more that all has to be bought back. So the problem, once it kicks in, it's going to be life-changing if it happens. So my answer to you is, because this is one of the first times this is being tried, I don't expect the stock to shoot up right away. Now, if we get this to work on GTII, and then let's say we do it with, I don't know, another stock, the third or fourth time when it's announced, the marketplace will drive the stocks up because they know what's coming. But right now it's going to be a little bit of Missouri State, show me. But it'll come. And it will do the tighten up right away. It's just when the big move, I think it'll take weeks for the system to get to the point where they can't borrow anymore, they can't shuffle chairs on the deck of the Titanic, they can't prevaricate with you and for much longer, and then they start buying in. So I would guess it would take, I mean, I'm guessing here. I hope you realize. I would guess it would take 4 to 6 weeks before you would see the results show up as potentially as a massive spike in the price. You'll see the effect. The stock could go from 2 to 8 like it did, well, from 1 to 8 like it did in November last year. That could happen very quickly in a matter of a day or two. But what I think you were asking me is, when would the squeeze type movement happen? And I think it would take a little bit longer. The back offices would try everything they could to settle the trades, to locate shares for the fails to deliver, to borrow shares, and it all takes a process, takes time. But if we stand firm and we don't go to the next stock that's going to bleed us dry, and by the way, I'm not telling you not to sell. If it goes to 5 or 4 or 3 or 8 and it hits your numbers, go ahead and sell. But I'm also not telling you that the stock won't go much, much higher than that if there's a buy-in. So, but it's your choice. What do I need to own GTI to get the dividend? What day? Well, Joel, I like that toe stones. $10 by Friday. That'd be great. I'm on top of my game. I don't feel that way, Barry. It's a beautiful day, though. Absolutely gorgeous. I don't know if you can see it. There's a helicopter. Anyway, it's a great day. But I hate the relentlessness of this, and I get bored of saying the same thing over and over again. And the real problem, I think, is we're invested in something we can't control, and I'm tired of that. I want to have more control. If I had to summarize it, it would be that, not that in any investment you can make sure what happens, but if I controlled it, I would make sure the steps were happening, which would give the greatest chance for huge success to you guys. But I don't control any of it. So it's a very helpless feeling. I'm not sure the Kramers control it, by the way. They've been able to sell and sell and sell because it's all they know how to do. I don't think Alpine really controls it, but what the criminals are doing is selling shares and moving it from LLC to LLC, strip mining the market for $500, $1,000, $10,000 every single day. And Gary Gensler doesn't care. That's the problem. All Gary Gensler would have to do is enforce the rules. You don't need lawyers. You don't need an act of Congress. You don't need journalists. You just need a courageous regulator to say, "Hey, I'm not going to abide this. This is clearly a violation of the rules and the intent of the rules. And it's not the first time. Arrest them. Charge them. Get their money." And you know, we can track dollars all over the world. Let's go get their hundreds of billions of dollars. Bring it back to the United States. So it's the sense of not having any control over it, because you really need an honest actor, and there aren't any. They're just, I can't find, there's no everyone in the regulatory side of this is bought off. They're either bought off directly or they're complicit because they want their daughters to go to the best schools and they don't want to be blacklisted. So it's, you know, it's not a good situation. All right, lucky boy. We'll go soon. We'll go soon. He's getting so old. He jumped off the couch today, and immediately his entire rear side fell out from under him. But he's still a good boy. Well, I tell you, the market, yeah, it's settled the trades. I think it's even, you know, a little bit more poignant by asking the question, what's in our accounts? Hey, Gary, what's in our account? I sent you $100,000. What do I have? Yeah, Gensler, I protect Wall Street. Hey, well, all right, you guys. Trump 2024 is fine, but I have a feeling that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. could beat him. Do you really want me to talk about the GTII dividend again? April 15th, FINRA asked some obligatory questions, nothing difficult. They've been answered. So approval is likely to come. It's not a promise, but it's likely to come this week. The record date is because the 15th is on Saturday, unless I misread my calendar. I think the record date will be a week from now, Monday, the 17th. And we're off to the races on that 1-for-10 distribution of restricted shares. The second dividend that's out there is the potential for a blockchain distribution of a portion of the proceeds, potential proceeds, of the West Christian lawsuit. That hasn't been finalized or even organized yet because they have to wait till the judge makes at least one or two more rulings on the case to be confident of its standing. But anyway, that'll come. And I don't know, I would say that's a few weeks away, but that's a big deal. The settlement could be huge. The third dividend that's already existing is the warrant as a special dividend. It expires in August. It's at $2.75. That's still out there. And if the stock gets back above $2.75, $3, $4, that'll start to bite again. Those are the dividends that are there right now. You've got the 1-800 law firm. Guess what? The auditor is slow. And you've got the potential of the Trento mines. You've got the West Christian lawsuit, which I think is going to how does it go? It's going to break all my windows, and I've broken all your windows and rammed through all your doors. I forgot how the lyrics go. But I think that is going to be huge. And then you got the FBI, and these things are still going on. And these criminals have sold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days straight down. And you finally got the key trend reversal. You got it today. Totally unexpectedly, but there it is. We're waiting for FINRA approval. God help us. Well, it might be God that helps us, but it's more likely going to be the people at GTII. Oh, a new puppy. I saw some nice puppies today. The owners don't always like it, but these dogs come up to me and they want to say hi. Not all of them, but when they do, I take the time. And the owners want to keep moving down the road. But there's nothing like a hello from a happy dog. Let me see what you're saying. Sky Dog, I know you don't like giving advice, but everyone needs to know that as MMTLP news drops and we move closer to reconciliation, MMAT will probably go from 43. Wow. All right, so Sky Dog, I'm not at disagreement with you. I don't know why that would happen necessarily, but I have noticed the correlation, and I like MMAT. I don't know much about it, but I have gone to their website, have read news stories, and Skydog, I think you could be 100% right that it goes 10x very quickly. So I'm not. I mean, obviously, I can't give specific advice to specific people, but as an exercise, I think you make a lot of sense, Sky Dog. How much longer do we have to wait? How much longer do we have to wait? Nothing but the best. The last run to 247 looked like there may have been a short covering over a few days. Do you think? No, I don't think there was any. I don't think there was any short covering. I think that was buying, and I think it was in anticipation mainly of the 1-800 law firm. But the auditors delayed. So that's what I think. Somebody just texted me that the warrant has already expired. That's not what I've been told by somebody I'm not going to quote because I don't want to get that person, I should have checked. But my memory of when the warrant was issued was in April, and that it was a 2-year warrant. So it is possible that the warrant has already expired. I will have that answer for the next time we talk. If true, that's too bad. That means that's gone. But it means then they can create a new one. And why would my understanding is they're not allowed to put out a new warrant as a dividend while one still is there. So that would be good for everybody. The reason I find it too bad, I wish they had just extended it because it won't have that 6-month hold that all stock offerings have. But anyway, either way, we'll move on. Maybe they'll give us a new warrant to replace it, which they've already talked about. Bye, Jenny. Or was it just counterfeits being sold over the last... I think it's all counterfeit. I think it was all fraud over the last 7 trading days. Bunny Chico, we all love a double bottom. You did say earlier there would be a reversal from a double bottom around. You did say it. I give you credit. I don't know much on GNS. I'm not going to speculate because if but I'll see what I can find out because people do ask about that. But I have my thoughts, but I don't think it's helpful for me to say them. I think this is incredible, today's action on GTII. Almost 1.3 million shares, and it's pounceable. Wickedums, there's no news on the catalyst, but my experience, for whatever it's worth with trading, you get these kind of... Somebody on the call said it's some sort of hammer, candle hammer, wise hammer. To me, though, it's just what you always look for is these sell-offs during the day, and they dry it down, it dries, and then it snaps right back up to new highs. I really can't remember a time when it's not a great sign for further upward movement in the stock. It just means everything's been wrung out, and now the move is up. That's my feeling. Trading Views shows 413 split. All right, Steve on Guinness. So maybe my memory was 415 and it's really 413. That'd be great. That's what? That's Thursday. So now we need the approval, and there'll be another announcement. I didn't see any news on MMTLP. I'm gleaning from the 2 or 3 calls I was on that something is imminent. I don't know what it is, though. I don't know what it is. SMX Forums International. You know, it's CP007. It's amazing how many companies. It's starting to be a real, I wouldn't say it's a tidal wave, but it's a mini wave of these companies asking, and how can they keep hiding it? All right. Shares up 92%. Wow. See, this is going to, CP007, this is what's going to start happening. There's a tendency initially for the market needing to have it shown to the market that the stock is going to go up, stocks are going to go up based on a catalyst. But once it's been shown to work, you don't have to wait. As soon as it's announced, the stock will go up, because traders know, to a trader, if it takes 6 weeks, that's a good time frame. They'll drive the stock up because then they have the arbitrage if they know that it's going to have a higher price. Right now, though, they see these announcements, and all Kurt Kramer does in Alpine is sell more stock that doesn't exist. It's amazing. All right, I'm going to go to 5 o'clock, which is 19 more minutes, because I have to go to dinner. Let me see what time with my sister. I can't take a nap first. I have to go at 6:30 or 7. I have to walk my dog. Oh, Lordy. Anyway, we'll do it. Good night, Matthew Parker. Power nap. Yeah, I need a power nap. I can't say that on a group call. I can't say what I was about to say. It wouldn't be polite. Ugh. So I don't know what else to talk about. Any opinion on Jeremy stock? Nothing but the best. Hey, Perry Cuomo, Cooper. No, I don't think we're going to get 2 days back in MMTLP. But I'm in the minority. Well, I think it's great if Lou gets back into GTII. But silver, I think, is the place to be. Well, I saw that news on the Dalai Lama, and I just wonder what the hell he was thinking. I think children should be allowed to have their childhood. Inside of them, there are the awakenings, perhaps, occasionally, of sexuality. But the longer that can wait, in my opinion, the better for the child. Hopefully it lasts, it can last quite a while before that. As my dad once said to me, you have the rest of your life to worry about sex. But I think anyway, I don't like what the Dalai Lama did. But I don't know I don't know why he did it. I wasn't there. But the boy was 7 or something. It's ugh. Well, True Blue, that's what I've pushed for quite a while. That may or may not happen. Not when you got lawyers. GTII did great today. Today was, I'm telling you, today, I wouldn't be surprised if it gaps open in the morning. It's not a promise, but I wouldn't be surprised. It's a good sign. It's a good sign. Okay, Ralph says MMTLP will be open for sale soon. I guess I should amend when somebody else asks me. I don't think the 2 days are going to be given to trading, because what I really mean is they're not going to be able to give it to you the way it was. And I think if they give you 2 days, the risk is it might be a poor facsimile of what you should have had. Me too. TRK up, it's 22%. Wow. For dinner, I'm going to have the fish for the halibut. No, I think she's picked a place. Ugh. I don't know. I'm probably going to have whatever is not red meat. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to have. All right. What I'm worried about is if they give you 2 more days. I do cook. I like to cook. Hey, Pecos Bill. Hope everything's well down in Texas. I got some Easter greetings from my different friends in Texas, which I appreciated. And at the Easter dinner I went to, this one guy and his wife, he speaks perfect English, perfect Spanish, perfect Portuguese, and they were talking about a trip to Wichita Falls. All I could add to the conversation, I said, well, I've been there. Which is all I could add. But someday I'll get down there. Yeah, I hope you did too, Pecos Bill. Hey, Jennifer. I had a girlfriend from North Carolina. She used to call me William. I kind of liked that. William. Yeah, that's what my dad used to say. Exactly, Sky Dog. That's a good idea, Cat Zone. Citra Ouija family just wants me to talk about the dividend again. My date was all right. You know, it was nice. It was just I'm going to come down to Texas as soon as I'm able. Yeah. Dun 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 dun. What is your comment? Oh, here it is. Will you come on a Twitter Space call if we do one with Dirty Mayo this week? Anything with Dirty Mayo I would do. So my answer is yes, I would. Dirty Mayo is a long time supporter of GTII. He is easily one of the, let me put it this way. If you had a choice, if you were in a foxhole of being in the foxhole with Dirty Mayo or being in the foxhole with Kurt Kramer, you know which one you'd be, which one you'd choose. But if you had a choice between being in a foxhole with Dirty Mayo and other people that you kind of trust, I'd still pick Dirty Mayo. He stands by your side, and I think that's probably the characteristic I like the most in people. He's funny. Oh, come on, don't. I didn't mean it with any messages like that. I'm a little down today. Well, Pete Tong, the two reasons I think trading would be different for 2 days now than in December, maybe 3 reasons. One is you just can't replicate all the energy that was going on and the confusion and the panic and the what do you call it? The animal energies. There's a different word Keynes used. Animal. Anyway, you can't. People. It'll open and it'll be like, Secondly, that I'm worried about is they better make damn sure that you can, if you do not trade your stock, that you still have all the same rights you have right now. If they say something like closing only, okay, I get that. But remember, in those first 2 days, there was going to be allowed buying, new buying, and closing. That's what makes short squeeze. There's buying, selling, shorting, buying, short, and they recover and it goes. Close only, you're not going to get all that. But if they also say if you don't sell in those 2 days, you don't have anything, the stock won't go above a penny. So I'm worried about that. I hope that they they make sure you still have your rights. And I guess my other concern is sort of a hybrid of that one, which is if that's their solution, and then they're going to walk away and they're just going to say you can sort it. To the extent that they feel like they've fulfilled their job and there's still people that haven't sold, and the heat isn't on anymore, the attention is gone, hey, you had your chance to sell. Well, I don't see that you're going to get much out of the shares. So I'm not a big fan of opening it up for trading. But, having said that, if they can replicate it, which I think would be pretty simple, it would be one, you don't have to sell and you still have your rights. 2, I would accept new transactions. Because I don't know how you're going to prevent the shorts from manipulating the price anyway. I just think there's too much risk to your position. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's a way to get it going again. And certainly the number we just talked about, 4.7 billion shares. Wow, the stock could go to numbers unimaginable. But I don't think it's going to happen. We are pissed, which Pete Tong in some parts of the world means something different than what you think, and we're organized. 200 a share. Big Al demands settlement. Yeah, that's Big Al's starting to think like I do. He says opening just gives them a chance to cheat again. Oh, that's nice. Paris zone. Well, Herman Hartner, I found my notes from before, and I've been writing a letter, Pete Sessions is one of the people I've copied, but I haven't sent it. And I meant to do it today. I just didn't have the energy. I'll try to do it tonight or tomorrow. I'm still going to send it, even though now everybody's talking to Pete Sessions. But I was in the Gamma chapter of a fraternity, which Pete Sessions was in, and Pete takes it very seriously. He invites everybody of that fraternity to his congressional office every year, and I got to go once, and I met him, and he took a picture of my neighbor, myself, and himself. My eyes were like this in the picture, unfortunately. But he took my address and name, and I would say about 6 months later, I got this envelope, and I was like, oh no, more bad news. What did I do this time? And I opened it up, and it was a kind letter from the office of Pete Sessions with his signature, Dear Bill or William, I don't know, Pete Sessions. So I'm going to write him. But all power to him. Jennifer. We'll be lucky to get 50. Hey, Dadif, I'm going to go turn off in 3 minutes. If there's a deal for MMTLP, it's like with everything, Pete. Why did it rip, Zach Mustard? I don't think there's a reason that it went down, and I don't think there's a reason it ripped. But I think what it shows is that they reached the limit of what they can do. Now, just watch. They'll come tomorrow and they'll crush it because they can. I don't know. But it's a really good sign. No, but there's no real reason for it. And that's how it works. One day the short squeeze will start like that. Yeah, Barry Crouch. That's been the way for a while, $600. Well, obviously the cat zone, what you mean is there's a rumor USB may want Credit Suisse to sell. I see what you're saying. Maybe sell them to another organization. I see what you're saying. But the way I read it is they have to close out their positions. But you might be right. Maybe they have to just get the position off the book, leave it open. But it's an interesting thing. You have big knockers. No, those are big knockers. Walk this way. I know, it's in his district. It's such a coincidence. To be clear, I was writing him on GTII, so it wouldn't have had the same power as MMTLP. But I kind of like people who do what they say they're going to do. I'm not always good at it. I try to, but Anyway, and he has staff. I don't have a staff. There are 4 big banks being investigated because of Biden. Wow. I guess he's better than I thought he was. I don't know. That's exactly right, Cat Zone. I hear what you're saying. I misinterpreted what you meant. My knee-jerk reaction was, oh, you mean they're going to buy back their shorts? But what you're really saying is just we don't want that position. Get rid of it. There's 2 ways to get rid of a position. One is to sell the position to somebody else somehow, or buy it back in. I don't know, Gene Wilder. He wasn't always my favorite, but it's amazing. For a period of time there, it seemed like he was on every movie, and now, where is he? They're not, Skydog, I don't think they believe for a second that their obligation is to give you 2 days. They may say, all right, we're going to open it up for a week or 2 weeks. That'll dissipate that number of shares per minute. I just don't think you can put Humpty Dumpty back together. Yeah, Doug, I agree with you. I don't want to repeat it because it'll cause trouble. So, all right, I think Paris. Oh, he's dead. Oh, well, that's. Oh, I guess that's why we don't hear from him anymore. All right, so I'm going to go. It's 5 o'clock. I'm going to try to take a quick 10-minute nap. Then I'm going to walk the dog. Then I'm going to go, as disheveled as I am, and have dinner. And we will meet again tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel, same bat thrilling discussion. And it'll be over soon. So anyway, I appreciate it. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And thanks, Skydog. He's dead. Who's Zed? Thank you. Zed's dead, baby. Zed's dead, baby. All right. So, peace, love, and happiness, and we'll catch you on the flip side. Thank you, Sharon.